All right, this just in. CNN's Dana Bash just spoke with the president's TV lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, about Democratic efforts to go after the president's tax returns. And he just told Dana, Giuliani did, that the administration is ready for a court fight on it. Quoting Giuliani now, quote, "They have to have a reason for wanting them, and I fail to see a reason. They can't just look at them. It has to be linked to some wrongdoing." He continued, "We will fight it in court, and I think we would win unless they had some specific allegation." Look for plenty more on this, perhaps coming down the road. I want to dig deeper now for someone who knows what it's like to seek answers from this administration. Maine's Independent Senator Angus King. He spent more than his share of time on it in his capacity on the Intelligence Committee, where he caucuses with the Democrats. Senator King, thanks so much for being with us. We just got this news. Dana just talked to Rudy Giuliani, so it's new to me. It's new to you. What do you make of this? What do you make of Giuliani's argument that the Democrats don't have a reason to get the president's tax returns?
Well, I think the first thing to say is I hope you never refer to me as a TV lawyer. I like that. That was a nice note there. No, I don't think anybody's talking about going after the president's tax returns just as a fishing expedition. I think there are going to be a number of investigations in the House, and there may be some rules under which getting the tax returns are appropriate, and we'll just have to see how that plays out in the House. It is curious that this president is the only even candidate for president in the last 40 years not to voluntarily release their tax returns. It does raise a question of what's in them, and but I think we'll just have to wait and see how this process plays out in the House.
We should know. There's a 1924 law which codifies that the House Ways and Means Committee, the chair, can get someone's tax returns if he has a reason. So I think that Mayor Giuliani is going to have a hard time fighting that in court, given the law is fairly clear on it. It's a House issue. We'll leave that aside. I do want to talk to you about what happened in a courtroom today, Michael Flynn's sentencing hearing, where there was no sentence. Prior to that hearing, President Trump tweeted out good luck to Michael Flynn. Is it appropriate for the president to be tweeting good luck to someone who was pleading guilty to lying to the FBI and admitted to lying to the vice president?
Well, I've said before, I think it's inappropriate for the president to be dangling pardons in front of Manafort and calling Michael Cohen names and complimenting Michael Flynn. It's just not appropriate, particularly when these people are involved in an investigation of the president or his administration. It just doesn't have the right feel. But I do think there's an important point, John, about what happened today, and that there's a feeling that somehow the Mueller investigation is on its own, that it is moving, just as a separate engine of the United States government. And what we saw today was checks and balances. That if there's for example, to raid Michael Cohen's office required a warrant signed off on by a federal judge. That's the way our system is supposed to work, and it's working. And they went into court today. It didn't go exactly as Michael Flynn hoped or Mr. Mueller, but the judge was an independent party who interposed his decision. He decided to delay the sentencing, as you know, and I think it could be an important development because basically it gives Michael Flynn a longer period of time to cooperate with Mr. Mueller. You know, it's interesting. Kenneth Starr, who we just had on, noted Michael Flynn definitely didn't want this today. This didn't go well for Michael Flynn, but also not for Robert Mueller's team. They had suggested no jail time. They had suggested this be over today. But I think if you look at what happened today, and I wasn't in the courtroom, but just seeing the reports of the judge's mood, it certainly would be an encouragement, if you will, to Michael Flynn to be entirely forthcoming, so that Mr. Mueller will renew his proposal for no jail time when the sentencing comes up. Now, you got to remember, and I said last week, there was all the to-do about Michael Cohen's guilty plea and his 3-year prison sentence. I think that the filings in Michael Flynn's case are really enormously significant. Number one, there was a lot redacted, so he's talking about things we don't know about. Number two, he's had 19 meetings with Robert Mueller, and they weren't talking about the weather or the Red Sox. They were talking about significant developments in relation to this case. So I think he has already apparently given a lot of information to Mr. Mueller, and now there's going to be time for further cooperation. And there was a bit of news he gave to the country today, the judge and Michael Flynn and Michael Flynn's lawyers. They all told us that claims from the president and some of the president's supporters that Michael Flynn was ambushed are simply not true. They all said no. That's right. And Michael Flynn was given, the judge explicitly gave him an opportunity to withdraw his plea and, in effect, argue that he was ambushed or a perjury trap or something like that. He did not do so. And I think that really does underline the fact, you know, he was a general in the Army. He was in the White House. To argue that somehow he didn't know that he wasn't supposed to tell the truth to the FBI just doesn't pass the straight face test.
Senator Angus King, thanks so much for being with us. Thank you also for mentioning the Red Sox. I couldn't help but smile.
Thanks, John.
All right, more now.